Hello, guys. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Holger Peterson. Hello, Gabriel Orsa. And hello, Rumpelstiltskin. Today we will speak about Nostr. And
Oh,
hello, Ola.
hi there. Yeah, people, I think you know me already. Or Hager, some kind of dev of Signum stuff, and yeah, doing other things also. Do you want me to introduce more a little bit, or do you just want me to start go right into that?
I think let's start and later we can go
Okay.
more to Signum
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I will make a very brief introduction in what is Nostr for people who don't know that. So Nostr is kind of a new protocol that is like making they say like sensor resistant or censorship resistant. It's a kind communication protocol in general. It's a little bit more than that. It's very flexible, and it is being developed since a few months already. And there's something like it got more attention when Jack Dorsey, the previous owner of Twitter, donated to the creator, which is a Brazilian Bitcoiner, donated some Bitcoin to him. So when it started to get like being hyped and all the stuff, and there's a pretty active community, and the Nostr is being developed all over. So the concept of Nostr is like that you connect to so-called relays. So in our wordings from the Signum world, it would be like a node, and then you make like WebSocket connections, so real-time, instant chatting stuff, and all around. So and what it's being made by Bitcoiners. So there's also the Lightning Network is being part of the protocol more or less right now, and so it's in that way. But from a Signal perspective, we saw that there are kind of touching points. Would be interesting to just like to integrate this somehow because it gives us some nice features additionally. It's not something. It's a little bit complementary. So Nostr is not a coin or whatever. It's just a protocol of communication. And yeah, there are a lot of things right out. Just 1 week ago, for example, I think Nostr, what's that? Nostr, I don't know. If you look at this, what is Nostr, for example? Nostr explains a little bit a decentralized social network with a chance of working. I even made a video, so we will link the video on that, because a few weeks ago I integrated Nostr or a Nostr account creation inside our XT wallet. And recently, what I have done is using more or less unique feature of Signum, which is called aliases, that allows us to have your own Nostr name, whatever, in that way. So an alias is like, repeat this, an alias is like a data container where you can change data inside. Probably before I go into that Nostrum network stuff, I would just like want to show that concept of that because I think it makes sense to show to understand a little bit better how what aliases are because it's something in the when I started with that some days ago, some time ago, I wasn't 100% sure about how that really works. So okay, so that is another wallet. This is the Phoenix wallet, and we have so-called aliases here. So as you can see, they're kind of a name. These names are unique and you can edit those ones. For example, if I go, let's say, I don't know, I have one here. It's Nostr, so I can go here, and there are kind of um, uh, things I can do here inside, giving a name, an account ID, and a homepage, and description, and all the stuff. And we have established a few months ago a standard last year somewhere, which we call SRC44. So we have this is like the protocol extensions or improvement proposals, and one of them is like just a defined format how we can save data and change data inside aliases. So as you can see, here's a JSON editor, and there are kind of namings about the specification, and it says like it's compatible with that. If I'm not wrong, we have already talked about this a little bit in the past. And yeah, I could go here right now and change that alias with other things. I'm not doing this right now, but that means that I can having a data container with up to 1,000 characters where I can change having data inside. And what I've done is like I used the specification, the SRC44, and said, okay, I can even store a public key from the Nostr protocol. like similar to Signum, Nostr uses asymmetric cryptography, key pairs like public and private keys, like we do also. But they use another elliptic curve for that, which is this SEC-P256. That one, what the Bitcoiners are using. They're like same, but they're not compatible because it's just another way of creating a different algorithm with different parameters. But that's not the problem. So we can just join that together, and that was what I've done. A small update on that. This wallet still doesn't support that, but we have, since the last hard fork, we have introduced so-called namespaces on aliases. That means if I look into the aliases, there are right now they are not showing any namespaces here right now, but because we have people who start to farm aliases, we thought it would be a nice idea to have something like namespaces. So you can say like I have a namespace Web3, we have another namespace Nostr, we have Signum, we have a lot of namespaces. And I can even show that actually in the Signum swap. I will do this quickly also. And these namespaces avoids that there are kind of somebody can like not steal, but can take your name as it is unique. So somebody, for example, could take Ohager. Right now cannot take anymore because it's taken already. And like a domain, like a common domain. And you can say like, okay, it's like the top level domain. Instead of ohager.com, I can use ohager.com.br, for example, or .de, whatever. And we have the same here. And so we have a lot of namespaces here. And one of the namespaces is that what created is a custom namespace is called Nostr. And that means that we're using the name system here on on that one where we can search for names. So that is what I've done. It's like Nostr network. Right now, before I jump into it, want just to show a little bit to understand the namespace thing. It seems a little bit complicated, but it's not. Let me just hop here over, go to the Alice system. So what we call Web3 identity. And I can search for a name. For example, I search for Ohager. And you can see that blue badges here. That is our namespace. So Ohager Signum. That is already taken here, and there's Web3, Nostr, a wallet, and there are others that are available, like Ohager.blockchain, Ohager.coin, crypto, and all the stuff. I could buy them all, but you see we have a lot of namespaces: Z, Y, X, W3, SNS, some of them. And so here are ones that I have I bought already. So one Signum is the default one. And so if I look into this, you can see that there's kind of a JSON here, and you can even see there kind of other fields inside. So that is how it works. You can, for example, buy and sale your aliases. Okay, for you to understand, but go there and see what aliases are on sale. Let me see if I do have something here. Not sure if that was already presented once, Schiffer, correct me, because I haven't presented that, but you can see that here are a list of aliases, my aliases. I can even see if somebody's selling an alias directly to me or not. It's like, think of it like domain in the DNS space, but it's a decentralized version. So, yeah. And going over to Nostr, what I do here is like I can go and can say like, hey, yeah, I want to have a globally decentralized. It's a little bit like marketing wise, but it's not really untrue to say that. Nostr identifier. This NIP05 is the specification of the Nostr protocol. I will talk about this in a minute. And I can go over here like, okay, that I choose my name. I can, for example, check Ohager. For sure, this is taken already. So hit enter. And it says like, okay, this name was taken already. And I can go there and say like Ohager test. And he will say, okay, that works. I could take this and going down there. And now I need to connect with my Signum wallet, with the XT wallet. So that means that if I connect here, he said, okay, you are connected and I'm ready now to claim, for example, the name Ohager test. I won't do that. If I click claim now, then it happens that the alias will be created on a specific account that is made for that. And then the account transfers the token, the token of the alias to you. So means like that why we need for the Nostr protocol, we need a Nostr public key. and then we have our Signum address. That's what's going. If I click claim now, it says like, okay, create that, and then transfer this to the user. I cannot do this because it's limited. I have already a few of those. Limited in the sense like everybody can, I think, only have 3 or 5 ones. So how do that works a little bit on the perspective. What does it mean when I have something created like a Nostr name? Um, I can search here for Nostr search name, and he gives me my Nostr identifiers. So I have one, it's called Nostr Ohager at Signum Network, and Ohager 5 is Signum Network. These are taken. Oh, somebody has taken Ohager 5. Oh, that's not me. Somebody. Oh, somebody is impersonating me. Okay, that guy here, that is not a public key. Okay, no problem at all. So there is now a name I have available. It's called Ohager at Signum Network. This is following the specification of the so-called NIP05. NIP05, I can go over there. It's like MIPS, that one here on the Nostr protocol. And that is doing something in the way that inside Nostr clients, you can identify yourself by using this kind of email format. And then it will check under the domain, which is like on your email part on the domain, will check if there is a certain format behind that that returns a certain public key and the name. And we at Signum, we created, unfortunately, the NIP05 is based on a DNS. So it's not really the internet, or that verification is not really 100%. It's not really decentralized, but this is the protocol immanent feature. So that means that if you get a name on Nostrum here, that one, then it will be always on at signum.network. Where can I use that? So if I go, for example, to my protocol, so I'm connected here, and there is something that you can see here. People might ask what that means. So here you see that all person with has a check mark here. And if I go the details of my profile, you can see that here is a NIP05 identifier, and that is where I use that. So people might ask why do we need that? You can use that Ohager Signum network for verification purposes. And it checks if the public key behind that checks with the logged in one. So that's actually everything that happens here on the verification. And there are possible ways to search you by that name. I'm not sure if I can do this here because let me see if I Hager at Signum Network. It's finding me already. You see, we have another one, a Signum Hunter here, Signum Network. It works more or less. I don't know what the other one is calling, but yeah, that's practically the way. The problem of this kind of searches that it requires that you're on the same relays on Nostr like other people are to find yourself, and that's what we have done here. Technically, you can go searching for other people. So we have right now almost 240 names registered. There can be unlimited number of names. And I could go and search, for example, for somebody registered as Ohager. So as I already figured out, there's somebody else who put like Ohager 5, which is actually my Twitter name, and he just like put this there. But I won't use this because that public key here is different than my public key. So the verification won't work on that way. I can even look for others. I'm not sure if Schiffers is here. I don't think so. Oh, I'm wrong. So Schiffers is here also, and he already created that. So these names, these aliases, has no cost for you involved. When you have this, you get this for free. And just in the moment when you start editing the alias, which is not possible at the moment because we don't have support for that. Let me think. Or on the Signum Swap platform, you can do this already. But I want to add this editing feature for the Nostr, for the other namespaces, also for inside the Phoenix wallet. The Phoenix wallet is not prepared with namespaces at this moment, but this is on my to-do list and should be done as fast as possible. So yeah, that's actually what I can do with the Nostr stuff. And we had another feature here, like the Nostr chat. You can go here, like going here and saying like hi, and then as you can see, all Nostr events need to be confirmed, signed by yourself. And I'm doing this here. I'm saying like, okay, 1 hour, it's okay, and I'm confirming that. It's like a transaction somehow. So we have a Nostr group space here, a small one, and just like putting this here inside. Somebody already put here some stuff inside, and I can see the same stuff also in the chat messages here in other rooms. So we have a Signum room here, and you see that my message I just posted here, it came up on the other part here. And what we will do in the future is that nice component here that we will be provide in the other platforms. It's very easy to integrate, and it communicates over the Nostr protocol. So that is, for example, possible that on the Signum Swap platform, people can chat along the other social media we have. So this is like a seamless integration with the entire Nostr. They're still separated things, just to make it clear. Signum and Nostr are completely separated things. And I'm not 100% sure what I will do next for Nostr. So it could be something like tipping, not 100% sure how to do that. I need to search a little bit more. But this is something just a small use case, a showcase to show how we can use aliases for such things. I made already a video that aliases can be used for other things also, but that was one of the cases I have done. Yeah, I think that's almost everything.
So, Ohage, how Nostr network connects with Signum network? I mean, you create alias with some information, and how Nostr network knows about this.
I'm not sure if I understand that. There are two different things. Um, they're
I
separate
mean,
things. They're like Nostr is not knowing about Signum, and Signum is not knowing about Nostr. We just like bridge the protocols together so that one feature of Nostr can be searched on Signum, like that search here. They're just like I'm not sure if I understand your question. They're still separated things, you know. They're not really integrated or into like that. It's just like we're using this on application level.
can you go to this social network, this core
That
show?
one here, yeah.
So it takes this name Ohage and your picture from where?
Okay. Yeah. Actually, the NIP05, if I'm not wrong, is not taking. Is taking the names kind of. I'm not sure how can I respond that perfectly. So the image itself, this is another protocol feature from Nostr. That is kind of weird, to be honest. That is something that not 100% convincing me of Nostr, because there's so many standards right now. It's sometimes a little bit confusing. So if I go to edit, then I can upload my profile picture here, and that is not being taken from Signum anyways. What I have done, I uploaded manually to that one, and then the image is being attached to a protocol event. It's something like profile information. There is a NIP for this, and that is being stored on the relays where I connected to. And so every time when I connect to Nostr, and with given relays, then it pulls all the information, and the clients are responsible. Clients like Oracle Social are responsible to pull that image. So that image is actually nothing linked to Signum anyways. So it's not pulling the information, for example, from our account information standard on Signum. Yeah, for people not exactly knowing what I'm talking of, is like we have the possibility to create account information, to edit account profile, and we can upload images there that we show them in the wallets. This is nothing that Nostr is pulling. So they're completely distinct. This is just like I used the same profile or avatar image all over. So that's the one. The only thing that is really pulling information and make a verification is that this verifier here, and clients can use that verifier to identify your name, like Ohager, and they can identify your public key on the Nostr protocol. That's all what they do. It's actually very simple. It's not really a highly complex thing. And that, for example, this username here, what I put here, I think if I change that, it will nothing. And can you save this? Hey, wait, is it already saved? Here's the save button. So it's Ohager test here on top of that, and this is the client stuff. And this is now being posted. You see, it's published to the relays, and 2 are still pending. And then later, when somebody connects 2 to the relays where I am on, and then the people can see that information. The verification here is something different. I will just make it back again. But it's not really pulling that from the alias or something like that. Just the alias from our part is being used as the so-called NIP5 identifier. I know it sounds a little bit weird and a little bit confusing. But it's just only to get this verified check here. That's practically. Okay. You make it on a decentralized way because the content. How does it use by the NIP protocol usually? The content of the NIP protocol says it has to be under a certain route on the domain. If we look into that stuff here, you see that it says that the clients by the protocol, which are NIP5 compatible, they need to look for a domain at well-known Nostr JSON name. So I can do something in that way, just to demonstrate that. If I go here and change the things into Signum network, going Nostr name local part, so the local part in that case would be Schiffers, and I hit in here, you see that he's returning a JSON. And that is the JSON from you, Schiffers, with your name, and these are the relays you are connected to at this moment to relay demos. But this information, it's not pulling from the server on Signum network. It's actually pulling from our blockchain. That is the connection point. That is exactly the content being returned by, mapped, what's being inside our alias. So when you hit that Signum network.well-known Nostr JSON, we have a cloud worker behind that, and that cloud worker connects to our Signum blockchain and pulls the information from the name Schiffers, which is Schiffers at namespace Nostr, inside our blockchain. The data is not on the server from Signum network. The data is on the blockchain.
And this browser connects to the blockchain by using Signum extension, browser extension. Yes.
No,
I mean, if you had no installed extension and you type it this link in the browser, it worked or not?
No, it works. You can use that.
It works.
Here,
actually. How?
Because it's a normal HTTP. It's not an HTTP call. It's going to the Signum network under this address. But there is not a file. There is no file called Nostr JSON. That once is being mapped to a function that goes to our blockchain and checks for the use for the names for the name that you put here. So this has nothing to do with XT wallet. This is part of the NIP5 protocol. The problem of the NIP5 protocol is that even if the protocol of Nostr itself says it's decentralized and all this stuff, which is, the problem is that this specification is making the identification over a DNS-based system.
Okay.
And DNS is, as we know, it's centralized because it's controlled by ICANN and all the stuff. So that's the point. Unfortunately, that protocol specification is centralized. I mean, all the Nostr people know that, but that was the most straightforward way to identify or to verify people. This is the same if you would as we do this with a profile verification on Twitter. So you go there, Twitter says, okay, you make a Twitter message, and you use a centralized platform to verify other people. And here's they're using the centralized protocol, the DNS, to verify people because they know that, for example, the Signum network domain probably belongs to a person or entity or whatever. But the data actually of Schiffers is not on the server of Signum Network. It's on the blockchain. That's the point. So the data itself, if you change the data on the blockchain, then it will be reflected here also. So that's the big difference. It's a tiny one, but it looks like nothing. I mean, yeah, that's it. So if I can go to Ohagger, here you see, here's Ohagger. This is my public key from Nostr. And you see my relays I have here. And I could go to Signum swap on the alias editor and could change, for example, add a new relay here. It will be reflected here also. It's dynamically fetched from the blockchain. That's it. Yeah. But the protocol from NIP says I need to pick up the domain, and then I need to make all this call, and then you have to return me a certain format, which is this one, and then you are verified or not. So that's the thing. But the interesting thing is Signum Network is not owning your alias. You own that. Exactly. Holger's asking for data that JSON is on the Signum blockchain. Exactly. Not that JSON, Holger, but a representation. So the original looks like I'm going to Signum Network, Signum Swap, my alias. Let me see my alias, and I can show you directly how it looks like. But it is only mapped. It is just transformed for one for another. So if I get to Ohagger Nostr here and I view that, you see that I have this XNoster field and the XNS real, which are the relays, and this is exactly what you're seeing there. That's it. So these ones these are on the blockchain, this data, and when you make this call here, then it's pulling the data, the alias from the blockchain, and it converts it into the format compatible with the NIP5 protocol, with that standard here. That's all. It's not really rocket science, but it's like connecting some points. But the interesting part is that the alias belongs to you. Nobody can change that. And the other thing is you can search independent of the relays. I mean, we have only 240 names or 239 names here, but we can look for, I don't know. Let me see also. Yeah, we have. So he has not a Nostr public key here, but he has already the alias. So this is iPro, for example. This is one of the guys who's working on Signum Swap platform and made the Signum NFT portal and all this stuff. And you can look here. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of names I can look for, but then test. I don't know if somebody has test here. Yeah, there's somebody made the test Signum Network one. No, it's the same public key here again. That guy. So and this component here is just a searching component, and it's looking into our alias system and pulling out the data here. So that is possible that you can look for people. So nothing here. Oh, here's somebody. It's calling Shell, and the other one is Sheffers. And we can make the alias search here. So there's another with Shell, whatever. That's it. And you can use this verification in all different other clients. So Coracle Social is just one client. There are other clients. For example, on mobile, on Android, I use Amethyst. And then there's Damis on iOS, Amethyst, Android, Master. Yeah, you can see that. That's, for example, and I use that one on my phone, and I use the same verification and all the stuff. It's all the same. So they're compatible and all that. That's it. I think it's nice that we have now an instant chat for free that we can use, for example, on in our web applications. We can do this on Signum Swap. I know it would be cool to have this on BTDEX somehow, but BTDEX is unfortunately a desktop application. So there is the communication needs to be established somehow different between the buyers and the sellers. But that's just kind of the idea that we want to have using the Nostr protocol also to make a seamless communication an instant communication between people. Just like an additional technology we are just pulling in. That's what we do. Can we use wildcard searches? Yeah, kind of. As you see, I'm not using wildcard. I'm using parts of the string. So if there on this namespace right now, there are only two with this SHE there inside. But let me see if I put. Yeah, you see that I can even look for header, so you will appear there also. So that's kind of a wildcard search.
So you think Nostr is cool stuff, and
It's
it can
you
be.
know, yeah, it can be something big. I mean, we just, being honest, we just jumped on the train, and it's just like a little bit hype or whatever. But it's cool because it's a very active community, and the fun fact is that many people are still on other centralized social media platforms. Like the Telegram group has about 7,500 people there, and there is like a more or less active community on Discord. It's like still fun to see that the people are no 100% on Nostr somehow. That is like it looks like a little bit in its infancy, but it's nice because some things out there are really great. For example, I really like that Nostr chat thing. So that this guy is called Pablo7Z, and he did that, and it's cool. It's just working, that's pretty cool, and I like that. And it works out of the box. I don't, and it's decentralized. Okay, if you have something decentralized, we have all this Wild West guys, and there's a lot of things that is not, because there's nothing that censors. I mean, okay, there are relays. The relay moderator could do something, but that's always if you are on many relays, then you're spreading out. It's like, yeah, it's another way of decentralization, let's say like that, or distribution in that way. Yeah, but it depends always on the relays. So this is like a small weak point I see in the protocol, but it's very easy actually. The protocol gets only complex by all the specification that the community is building. And if we look nowadays in the NIPS, I think there are a dozen, or you see how many pull requests they have here, and it's like growing and growing, growing. Not sure if the entire model of that NIPS is scaling really. Yeah, it's getting complicated each time a little bit more. So they have a little bit here, but they try to keep, there are kind of moderators that are trying to keep it more, a little bit better. It's still growing. It's still in its infancy, but it has some potential for sure.
So it is related to a Bitcoin community.
It's really, yeah, it's a lot of Bitcoiners, because the creator, that guy, it's called Fiat Jaff, or Fiat Jaff, yeah. So he's a Brazilian guy, actually. I know that because I saw some of the Portuguese-speaking YouTube channels and all this stuff. And but he's a true Bitcoiner, and even in the Bitcoin scene, he's kind of known already for his contributions, and and that is why it attracts a lot of Bitcoiners, because there is kind of an important person. But the community itself is like, from what I've seen, like for example on the Telegram channel, they're not like starting flame wars and blaming other projects. So I never got never offended by offering support from Signum side. Yeah, this is okay. Our messages on us is stored in plain text on the blockchain. No, they're not, Gabriel. Then the messages on Nostr, they are all on the relays from Nostr. So this is the Nostr protocol. So and that's even a problem in the discussion of the Nostr community, that they don't know why somebody should run a relay for free, because there's no incentive. And so they're still trying to figure out all the things that we have on the blockchain, the decentralized space in general, is like how incentivize people to incentive people to do something, and making it for free or not. So there are paid relays, they have kind of a SLA, and others are not. But because you need to run a server with a WebSocket connection for you to know is like, you need to keep all the connections open, and it does not scale like HTTP protocol, but at least you have a full duplex real-time communication. It's like pulling and pushing data, which is not possible with HTTP. So running a relay is something, that requires a certain infrastructure for you, especially when it should scale. And what they do is like they distribute the payload on different relays, but there are kind of relays which are more reliable, like Damus, for example, and others. So these are bigger servers. There, someone is running. Yeah. So we are not storing any messages on the blockchain.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So,
there's something else that needs to be, because it's not being stored on the blockchain. That means that the chats, they can get pruned. So it's possible that somebody's cleaning up the relay where they're working on, and like removing messages from the past. So it's all up to the relay owner. So that is again a kind of a moderation, or if you want to say not so diplomatically, can say it's like somebody that has control over the chats. So that's why always the people say like connect to as much or to several relays on the same time. And they're working right now on a protocol that the relay starts to interchange the messages. This looks a little bit to me something like they're reinventing the wheel, because I know, for example, that IPFS has also a published subscription pattern. It's called Gossip Protocol and all this stuff, and they can make instant messaging also. But I know that Firtjaf is not fan of IPFS because it's a little bit more complicated and all this stuff. So it's kind of things that are not really reinventing the wheel, but they're kind of doing certain things that were done before, and they're discovering that certain problems exist, which others already discovered. It's a little bit like that. It's still in its infancy, but it's an interesting concept. It works a little bit different, like signing thing with the elliptic curve stuff and so, and let's make it nice. Yeah.
okay, Oliver, thank you. I think let's finish Nostr section.
Yeah.
And can you little bit explain more about our aliases? About we have Gabriel Orsa question. Does this mean that people can hoard aliases and sell them later at higher price?
Yeah, they can. That is possible. Uh, that is possible, but I can tell about that. Going to Signum alias system, Signum Swap. That was one of the reasons why we introduced the namespaces. So in the early days, before the last hard fork, we had only a single namespace, the default one. It was no namespace at all, and there were really people that hoarded, as you said, that they farmed thousands of aliases, and they own them. And then it's like the same like the domain hunters has done have done. So they're hoarding the domains and trying to sell them somehow. And so one of the things is like with the last hard fork, we introduced the namespaces, and there is this is the first that people who hoard them, they're not can take away your name if you want to, because they would need to do this over a lot of namespaces. So we have 19 free namespaces, 19 namespaces which are for free, and you can create your own custom namespace. So the only custom namespace I know right now is Nostr namespace, and the other ones are like Web3, Wallet, Coin, X, Y, Z. There are a lot of things that are like specified in the SRC 48. I think so. What's that? Signum network. What? Fuck. Yeah. So if we go to the SIPs, we can see like 48 modernized alias frameworks. So, and this was the modernization. You see, this is one of the last SIPs, and this is active since a few weeks, like the last hard fork. And there was something else that came in. It's like that aliases that you are keeping, they need to be, you pay for them like a subscription. So what you'll pay for, if it's on the default namespaces, which are given for free, which are these ones here, blockchain, coin, crypto, DAO, decentral DEX, free, NFT, P2P, SIG, Signas, SNS, W3 wallet. These are for free. And if you create an alias on one of these namespaces, you automatically will have a subscription, like a recurring payment, which is it's a specific feature of Signum chain, that you pay all 3 months 12.5 Signa, which is ridiculous. But this is also for people who start to hoard, it can generate certain costs. So that means like if they have thousands of aliases, then they really have to pay thousands of subscriptions. So because people have done this in the past, We cannot just scan over and say, now you have to pay for that. So that one that were harded on the default namespace, they are still there. People who harded that in the past, they own them, and they do not pay until they update that. So in the moment when they start to transfer that one, or they update the content of the alias, they will get activated. They will get a subscription being activated, and they have to pay for that. So, and unless your subscription, you cancel the subscription, or you run out of money on the account that is being related to that subscription, you can lose your alias. This, just to say that this does not count for the aliases. This also counts a little bit for aliases the people can get on the Nostrum network stuff. But the fun fact is you can give people an alias as a gift. So if I am owner of an alias and I transfer that alias to you, Shifas, then you don't have to pay for that alias. I will continue to pay for that alias until you change the alias or you set it on sale or something on that. And that is what we have done here. So I just created for you the content of the was created for you on this alias, and then we transferred it to you. And when you start to change your alias, you would start to change. You take over the subscription. So that is like the owner of the Nostr namespace is paying you, is giving you this kind of as an airdrop. You can say that, like a gift. Okay, so that's what alias is. And yeah, you asked, is there more Shifas, more questions about the alias stuff?
No, we have about this messaging stuff. About aliases, we don't.
Would it be possible to encrypt the message in a way that only chat members can decrypt them and read them in an automatic way? There is on the if you Gabriel are referring to the Nostr chat, yes, Nostr chat has also direct messaging, but not encrypted in the chat room itself. In the chat room itself, it cannot be, because it has to be peer-to-peer encryption, like we do this also on Signum. So Signum has also peer-to-peer encryption messaging, but this that only works between two people because of the shared secret of the public key and private key encryption. That is how peer-to-peer encryption works. The chat, if you want to really make messages in the chat room where other participants are, then you have to encrypt this somehow by yourself. But the chat room itself, as far as I know right now on Nostr, there is no encrypted chat. If I recall correctly. So, but you can make, just like Signum, you can make direct peer-to-peer messaging. Not sure, just to show people that what means peer-to-peer messaging on Signum. Let me see, like maximize the view. So, for example, here are public peer-to-peer messages. Do I have some encrypted ones? No, but we have the possibility to send encrypted messages. For example, I can go over here, saying peer-to-peer message. I can send it to, I don't know, it would be to myself. I don't know, it's in another. Shifas doesn't work right now at this moment. Or do you have an alias? No, you don't have. Okay, you don't have that one. Okay, now that's later. But I could, for example, send a message here and can say, like, I want to decrypt the messages, and then it's being a decrypted peer-to-peer messages. So that's possible on Signum. It's something that other chains cannot do, I think so. Not 100% sure yet. But we were on the aliases. So, Shifas, you asked me to say more about the aliases.
No, I think let's finish.
Yeah,
And
I mean the
have-
aliases. Yeah, the alias thing. One of the things I'm still, because we call it Web3 identity. Of course, there are others, larger networks. They were already doing a lot of things in that area also. I'm not sure how they do this. If it's possible, I even don't know how the ENS stuff on Ethereum works directly, to be honest. But one thing I'm interested in is digital identities, because the W3C, the consortium that cares for the internet standards, that is already, they have a W3C DID. I think it's called like that, decentralized identifiers. If I find the time, I want to go to this spec and see if this is somehow compatible with something that we can do on our side on Signum here. because I'm still trying to wrap my head around the digital identities or decentralized identities. It's not 100% clear. Some things work already, but this is something I'm interested in, because as you can own an alias container, you can do a lot of things there inside. And one of the other things we're doing, I have shown this once, is like if I can do like, I think it was like that. I need to work on this. You see, I have done. I can do this code or Hager at Signum, and it's like redirecting, for example, to the GitHub page. So we call this like Signum name system. This feature works only. It's not stable yet, so it's a little bit more experimental. Because we're just like reviewing a little bit the format, but you can do things like that. But this requires, Schiffer said, you mentioned that before, this requires that you have the XT wallet installed. That is possible to resolve this alias stuff in there inside. And we want to build something on top of that and making it more user-friendly. But the technical foundation is already there that we can do this. So that is another way of using aliases, like as a URI resolver. There is other use cases to do. I use it even aliases for application configuration. We have at XT, we use it for certain things. I look into the Signum blockchain to get certain data there out there and use this information in my application. So this is something else I can do. Yeah.
And suggestion from Gabriela? What do you think?
Maybe it could be further increasing the subscription fee the more alias the person have. Could be. We need to see. There's something. This is the old discussion. Schiffer knows that very well. This remembers me a little bit the slot fee system that was introduced a few years ago, because the people were feared about scamming and spamming. And in the end, the slot fee system was abandoned again, because we never got to a level of adoption where this really turned out to be an issue. And as long as we don't have that level of adoption, it's like, I call this sometimes a premature optimization or not, I don't know. But I agree with you, Gabriel. This needs to be considered. If this is being an issue, if this become an issue, I mean that slot fee system. I mean, Schiffers is a specialist in that. He's an expert on that.
I just can say that it is impossible, because you can create accounts for free. I mean, you have no costs in creating accounts, so it is not impossible.
Yeah. So that this like. I see the same. For example, my newest project or showcase regarding that was, for example, and it's okay that people are afraid of that, and I know of the risks like saying that. But there's for something npm Signum file fs. That is like a small thing. It's npm. Let me see that. npm.com. npm is a package manager for Node.js. For people who don't know, what's that? npm Node.js. It's not com. Right here. So, and I have done something like to store data in chunks on the chain, but I know what the risk is. So I'm just like, so if you go that Signum FS is like a simple on-chain file storage solution on the blockchain. So what I can do is like I can upload files to the blockchain. It will be split in chunks. Was inspired by ex-community member, and it works nicely. So, but that can be abused, you know, and so I made some things that are inside that it cannot be abused out of the box. You need deep understanding of the things, but that's the problem we always have on the decentralized stuff. If you can create accounts for free, if you can create aliases for low fees, if you can upload data for low fees, and all this stuff, this is all what we have, and this is all there. But I mean, let's attract the people and see what's going on then. I mean, we know that blockchain is not really the silver bullet for everything. I mean, that should be clear. but at least Signum is a platform that has a lot of features and possibilities, which is not being used at all. And I want to promote those features a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, and the last question about 24-second blocks.
Yeah, the testnet. I think at this moment, Joss, who is our protocol master, saying like that, he's pretty busy at the moment. Probably he's working on something. Usually it's like that when he's in silence, then he comes out with something big. I think he has run already some tests on his own behalf, but we won't put this on testnet because testnet is being used by many users at this moment, and so there's. I think there's kind of progress in the idea of making faster block times. I'm not 100% sure about the current situation, the current state of that. Yeah, but okay. But let's see where this goes to. That is what I'm saying. So, thank you, Gabriel.
We will see.
Yeah. What was the
Okay.
other question from Investor Boy? I'm sorry.
It was about documentation that Investor Boy wants more text documentation.
Yeah, exactly. We like documentation, for example, also for the Signum swap platform. I mean, we have done a little more things right now, and for example, the staking pools and all this stuff, and the documentation on the documentation side is not ready yet, so we haven't done it somewhere. There's like, well, we need to do this, and I would like to make one more explainer video on the Nostrum stuff, because that component, for example, is reusable. People can use it on their sites somehow, and that's what I there's like that components we can like build together like Lego. Yeah. Let's see. But I agree with that. Documentation is something. Sometimes it's boring to make documentation, but it's necessary for sure. I agree on that 100%.
Okay, thank you guys. Thank you for joining, and thank you for asking questions.
Yep.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a nice one.